What's up? It's your new favorite YouTuber, Trippy Times, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the first time that I took mescaline and what that experience was like for me. But before we get into that, let me start off the video by saying that I am a recovering addict. I've got almost 5 months of sobriety right now, and YouTube is an outlet of mine that helps to keep me sane and sober. And keep in mind that my intention with these videos is not to glorify the drug or the usage of it, but I'm just simply talking to a camera about what my experience with said drug was like. So with all that being said, here is what happened. So this took place back in late 2012. I was 18 at the time, and it was me and my friend from school, and it was on a Friday night, and we had already tried LSD a couple of times prior to this, so we had a small tiny bit of experience with psychedelics, but not much. So my friend came over to my place right after school, and we had planned on tripping on acid this night, and that was just the whole plan. We called our guy and asked if he had any, and he tells us that he is out at the moment, but he has mescaline. But being the young people that didn't know shit about shit back then, and we had no idea what the hell mescaline was, he told us that it was this intense psychedelic that was just a little bit different than acid. And me and my friend were still experimenting with a lot of different drugs at this time, so we absolutely jumped on this opportunity. So we show up to the guy's house, and he hands us these capsules with this whitish powder in it. It was 2 capsules, and he told us that it was 400 milligrams of mescaline in each one, and I don't really know how true that was. Because again, we didn't really know much about it back then, and I still don't really know a whole lot about mescaline today. I just know what the effects are like, for me. So we go back to my house, it's nighttime, and so we figured, alright, we should go ahead and probably do this now, right? Oh my god. Now our guy told us that there was 2 different ways that we could take it. We could either A, eat it, or B, snort it. Eating it would make the trip take longer to kick in, but it would be more chilled out and it would last a lot longer. Snorting it would make it kick in right away, and the experience would be much more intense. But of course, it wouldn't last as long. So we had already decided before we got back to my place that we were definitely gonna snort it. And if you've ever seen like mescaline extract, it's basically like crystals. And we broke it up as much as we could, but there would still be like your usual bigger chunk of it, and you'll see why I brought that up in a minute. But we go ahead and empty our capsules onto this tray that I had, and we roll up a $1 bill, and we line up our lines, and we get ready. Now, I guess we both kind of thought that snorting it would maybe be like coke, kind of, like it would go up a lot smoother, and maybe have a slight bang to it. But my friend wasted no time at all, and without any hesitation, my dude snorted that line, and he got up so fast and left the room. He went to my bathroom for a minute, and then he came running back in my room. He was like, dude, I'm already tripping. And I was like, does it hurt? And he was like, yeah, it fucking hurts, but you just take your hit so we can trip together, man. Don't think about it, it fucking hurts. And he walked away, and I just paused for a moment, and I just tried to prep myself for this. Started taking these deep breaths, and I rolled up that $1 bill, and you know, like he said, don't think about it. I snorted that line, and it was this immediate rush of intense pain. I got up and I did the same shit. I ran to my bathroom, and I'm standing over my sink, and there's this drool just falling out of my mouth, spit falling everywhere, and my eyes watering. And I looked into my sink, and just everything was just in this really fast-paced motion. It's so hard to like describe what the visuals were like, but they were just, everything was moving very fast, and it was so intense. I was just trying to get myself together. I kept wiping my face with tissues, and I had to go to my room. I laid down on my bed, and it was actually a scary feeling. Like, I felt like I was dying. I could literally feel myself starting to leave my body. And I was just laying there curled up into a ball, shaking, eyes wide open, just scared and confused. And I thought I was about to have an out-of-body experience, straight up. And all this pain and suffering only lasted like 30 minutes, but to me, it felt like forever. Like time was absolutely meaningless. And finally, after about 25 minutes, the pain began to subside, and I started to feel just a little bit more comfortable. And oh boy, at that 30-minute mark, an intense rush of this warmness and comfort just takes over my entire body, and everything was starting to become so unbelievably beautiful. I get down off my bed and my friend comes back into my room, and apparently he had to go outside. He said he was walking back and forth and he had to keep his arms and hands in constant motion to like maintain any sanity that he had left. But he comes into my room, big smile on his face as well as mine, and we just both started kind of laughing at like how intense it was, because I wish I could like edit this video somehow to show you what the visuals were like, but it's indescribable. And we sat down and just enjoyed these visuals that we were getting. And you know, I know psychedelics are a lot more than just visuals, but this experience in particular was very focused around the intense visuals that we were getting. And this is back when I smoked cigarettes, so a smoke sounded perfect at the time. So we start heading out back, and everything in my house is like going crazy. Like, we had these really detailed pictures of animals, and like they were all coming to life, and just, I don't know, it was so crazy. Everything was in this constant motion. And we walk outside to the backyard, and I light up a smoke, and my friend didn't really smoke, but he did ask for one. And we just sat down and smoked a cigarette, and we're just listening to the outside world, and we can hear the traffic in the distance, and it just sounds like spaceships flying all around. And of course the nicotine from the smoke chilled us out even more than we already were, and everything was just so fascinating. Like, I remember the trails off of my cigarette were tripping me out a lot. Like, the lit end was so bright, and it looked like a magic wand just moving it all around, and the sparks would fly off of it, and it looked magical. And I remember flicking the cigarette to the ground, and we had an ashtray, but I just had to see this. I flick it to the ground, and we watch all the sparks fly off of it, and it blew our minds, and it was so crazy, and it was hilarious at the time. And it felt really good outside, so we figured, why not walk around the neighborhood? You know, it's late at night, pretty quiet neighborhood. It just sounded like the perfect idea. And I remember everything just had this reflection off of it. Like, the walls had this reflection, all the lights were bouncing off the reflections, bouncing off all the walls into each other. And I remember I said to my friend, dude, it looks like I have chrome vision, is what I called it. And he was like, yeah, exactly, dude, exactly. So we get out the front door, and the first thing we notice is that huge nighttime sky. And you can't really see much from the backyard, so we didn't really, you know, think about that too much. But it was just this beautiful sky filled with so many stars, and it looked like it was like, to me at least, it looked like it was like right above us. Like, literally though, like as if I could have reached out and touched it. And I'm pretty sure I probably did. Well, at least tried to. So we're walking through the neighborhood, and it was more amazing than we could have imagined it to be. The roads, the sidewalks, the houses were all in this like constant dance motion. And it was all moving so fast, and every time a car would pass by, the sounds were so intense that were coming from that car because you can just hear everything. It sounded like spaceships passing by us every time. And the trails coming off the cars as they passed by, it was crazy. It's hard to explain, but it was like the cars left behind this light. And every time a car would pass by, I could see the tracers, like the trails of the car, the light would go. And it was like moving, it was like light moving fast through the wind. Like, some really mind-blowing stuff was happening. Like, me and my friend, we shared a bunch of laughs that night, and we just had an amazing time. We eventually just went back to my place and went inside, turned on some music, and we just vibed out for the rest of that night. And I remember I had these really small like stars on my ceiling from when I was younger, and they were like stickers kind of. And even staring at those, like staring at my ceiling, was intense because everything was just in this constant motion. I wish you could see what I was seeing. And I wish it was easier for me to explain what the visuals were like, but it really wasn't describable. And I had a lot more crazy experiences on Mescaline. Me and one of my other really good friends think that we may have had a telepathy experience, but I'm definitely saving that story for another video because that's just too good. But yeah, I guess that's my first experience with Mescaline. It was a great time besides the first like 30 minutes of torture I had to experience, but I guess I had to go through hell before I could have been ascended. And again, I want to remind you that my intention is not to glorify these substances or the use of them. I'm just talking to a camera, telling you about what my experience with them was like. And doing this helps to keep me sober, so that's why I do it, and I hope people enjoy watching them. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, it seriously means a lot to me. If you could do me a favor and leave a like on this video, I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment telling me about your experiences or what you thought about this experience, or just tell me what's on your mind. Also, if you're new here and you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome too. I'd really appreciate it. I plan to keep uploading and staying consistent as I can. So yeah, it means a lot that people support me. So anyways, if you're still here, I don't want to keep you any longer. I will let you go. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.